Hello, my name is Prime and welcome back to another episode of ETS2 Showcases, and today I am doing my first look at the 1.47 open beta for Euro Truck Simulator 2, and the update brings in many new features including a few new trailers. Starting off with the ownable livestock trailer, which we're using in today's video, you have the single option body type. You can choose from 4 different options. This changes the basically paint scheme ultimately and the kind of details of the trailer overall. So let's quickly go to paint. I'll change it to red. Then if we come back to the body type, if I go livestock and steel, you see that the side goes to a steel color, but it remains the painted color around. That's the main difference. And we also have the belly version of the livestock trailer as well. Chassis wise, we only have one option depending on what trailer version you're using. So if you're using the belly version, you have the 3-axle belly. If not, you have the 3-axle standard. On the exterior side, we've got a few different options. You can change the front of the trailer. You can change if you want fans on the side of the livestock trailer. You can do lights along the side and the different patterns there. On the standard livestock trailer, you can change what goes underneath. On the belly, you cannot. Of course, you've got your standard tire and rim options, but you can also change the fender type as well. And at the back of the trailer, you can change if the back door is chrome, or of course you can do the bumper options as well. And we also have the ownable gas cistern trailer. Once again, it's only in a single option. Chassis wise, you can go between a 2 and 3 axle variant. On the paint side, we have the handful of stock options along with some other paint scheme options as well. As for the accessories, you can once again do the lighting options. You can change different storage boxes that go below it. You can put a hose on the side if you'd like to. You have your standard wheel and tire options along with the fender option, and at the back you can choose to put fire extinguishers on it along with your different rear bumpers. So today we're driving the DAF XG Plus, and using our ownable livestock trailer, we're hauling live cattle from here in Stuttgart up to Frankfurt, Germany. Of course, we're checking out the brand new areas of the Germany rework, a long-awaited update to be honest, and probably the flagship of the 1.47 open beta. But let's go ahead and get this DAF XG Plus started up and get on the road. Just stock sounds today. Don't want to run any mods for the first time, just to make sure that there's no incompatibility or performance issues. So let's talk about the 1.47 open beta. There's quite a few new features. Obviously, as I've just gone over, we have the 2 new trailer types, the ownable livestock and the ownable gas cistern trailers. We have one of the main reasons I'm using a more modern truck today instead of what I did in ATS, using a slightly older truck to try and show off these features, the emergency braking and adaptive cruise control. Now, odds are we will end up having the emergency braking act up on us just because, well, I will say this right now, 1.47 open beta is an open beta. Big shock there. So if you opt into it, please be mindful that odds are there may be an issue with it, and I almost went right on red there. I'm learning, people. I'm remembering. There may be issues, so don't go too hard on it right away. And if you don't want to have the emergency braking or adaptive cruise control, or both for that matter, oh, there we go. It's already acted up on us because it threw the hazards on. Is it going to turn it off? Thank you there, DAF XG Plus. I appreciate it. If you want to turn that off, it's just an option in the gameplay settings of ETS2, and same for ATS. It's ATS gameplay options. You can choose that on and off. For the emergency braking, it's just a toggle, a little checkbox toggle switch if you want it on or off. And when it comes to the dynamic cruise control, it's just a drop-down menu to select how many what's the distance, I should say. Select your distance between you and the car in front, and you can turn it off as well if you don't want to deal with it. Let's do some exterior shots here to get this beautiful Germany rework area here of Stuttgart underway as I almost crashed. So maybe we'll go interior for this little bit here because we don't need to crash on this episode. Let's try and keep it a little bit more, well, shall we say smooth as it can be. So Germany rework is obviously probably the what I would say is maybe the flagship kind of section of the 1.47 open beta for ETS2. It is one of the long-awaited features that we've been hearing about for quite some time now, and it is something that a lot of us, and certainly I am very excited to be kind of driving around here. Another thing is that we have the dynamic or random road bumps. Generally, random road bumps is the word you should probably use, but there we go. We got a little dip there, and I can confirm that you can feel it. And there's also a slider I noticed in the setting options for the road bumps. I didn't actually notice that on the ATS side when I did my first look there. So either I'm blind, which is a very good option and very good chance, or they added that in ETS2, and there's been a patch on ATS as well that maybe it's in there too. You never know, but overall, random road bumps I think is actually a really neat addition. Adds to the realism a lot. You can of course change, as I mentioned, it's a slider, so you can increase it, decrease it as much as you want, get rid of it completely. But I think between that and drive shaft torque, especially on the ATS side, will really add to the realism of the game, just overall. I think it'll go quite well, go over quite well, and you can really feel the bumps along the road, I will say that, and it just gives the movement within the cab a little bit something extra, and I do like that little bit of more dynamic kind of driving experience, and it makes it so much more realistic in my opinion. We have custom city intros as well, and then of course we've got UI changes and some performance issue, or I was going to say performance issues, performance improvements, the quite opposite actually of the issues, performance improvements around dense traffic areas, also at night and in bad weather. Overall, really nice features if you ask me. And yeah, 1.47 is an update that I think if you want to try the open beta is one that I highly recommend. If not, wait for the full release. Overall, I haven't noticed any real performance issues, and in fact there's only been improvements to my knowledge. But one thing that I will say, and a little bit of a, I guess, a nuisance I have kind of with the update, is just the emergency braking system. Between this and a little bit of a test delivery that I've done, it is, or between, sorry, I guess I should say between the ATS episode and the little test delivery I did between, because I'm not recording this on the first day of release for the ETS2 side, the emergency braking is definitely really touchy. It doesn't matter where it is around the truck, it seems like it will stop you. I've even had one where it threw on the brakes because it noticed something around like the side or at the back of the truck. I don't know, it's kind of hard. Like, there's one thing about reversing sensors, and then there's when you're driving forward and something like a car kind of jumps out through the intersection, as some of the AI do at times, and then it slams on the brakes because it thinks you're going to collide with it, but you're just moving past it. I don't know, to each their own with that. I think the feature can be a really good addition if you give it enough space, really. You gotta move slowly, which maybe it's really more of a driving style change if you really want to have it on. It depends on the truck you're driving. Obviously, I'm using the DAF XG Plus today because, well, it is a very modern truck as per the digital mirrors within it, so it would have the emergency collision avoidance and obviously the adaptive or dynamic cruise control. I don't know, it's one of those things that I think is a great feature to have, but I know a lot of people would have liked to see, or like to have seen a, let's say, a graphic improvement when it comes to the anti-aliasing or stuff like that. That's been something that's been talked about for quite some time. Once again, that's a very kind of hard topic to touch on, because the big kind of talking point there is that the engine that ETS2 and ATS runs on, it's going to be getting a fairly significant upgrade at some point. STS Software has mentioned that this year they're planning to have some form of, or their goal, I should say, is to have something roll out to help really overhaul the engine, because it is an in-house engine, for those who don't know. And it's one of those hard things. Is it kind of unrealistic for us to think that with all the other upgrades that have been coming to ATS and ETS2, could they have brought in a better anti-aliasing? You know what? On the surface, it may not look like it. It looks like they probably could have. But underneath, you really got to understand that the engine needs a lot of, needs to be more modern, basically. And that's what STS Software is working on, and it seems like their goal is to have it, as I mentioned, come out this year sometime. That will just naturally bring a lot of improvement and ultimately raise the bar and what they can do to improvement-wise. So that's stuff we can look forward to there. Obviously, we've got a kind of interesting situation when it comes to the map DLCs here on ETS2. We've learned more and more to to be honest, quite a bit of information recently on the West Balkans DLC. How much and when, or I guess I should say how much we have left in terms of blog posts, and how long will it be until the West Balkans releases? That is a good question, and one that I wish I had an answer for. The unfortunate thing is that it is quite well known, because SU Software did mention it in the blog post, kind of giving this situational update, that the West Balkan I was going to say the Heart of Russia DLC, there we go, it was very close to release. Like, very, very close to release. And unfortunately, the ongoing circumstance between in the Russian area, it's definitely hasn't helped that DLC at all. And it is unfortunate because that DLC was very close to release, and it would have been a very nice DLC to have at the time. But now there's been such a large gap there. But in my opinion, it was for a good reason for them not to do it, and it's just whenever SES Software feels in their time that that feels when the time is right, I'm sure that DLC will come out. But for now, we know about West Balkans DLC. When it will come out, I don't know, because there is talk and more severe rumor that on the ATS side, the Oklahoma DLC will be coming just after 1.47. I'm not 100% sure on that one quite yet, to be honest. I mean, we still have what I feel like should be a decent amount of blog posts left on Oklahoma, but it's kind of hard to say. We don't know how long the beta here in 1.47 will be up, or will be out for. It could be out for a month or two, and that could be the time in which it takes for Oklahoma to be ready to release. Oh, we gotta go around the cop there. Don't want to hit him. But no, see, that's what I mean. Emergency braking, throwing on when I'm clearly exiting. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. And same goes for the map DLC. I guess we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Hope for the best, and we'll go from there. So it looks like we're getting into Frankfurt here. For those, because we've made it to the end of the video, or nearing the end of the video, for those who have a keen eye on the GPS, and why in the world this area has been discovered, this particular route that I'm driving today, because Prime pulled a blunder. Normally he does it on camera, or I guess I should say on video, but this time he did it off video because he recorded, or in other words, I did. I recorded the entire episode once already, and I thought I hit on my record button on my Stream Deck, and I didn't. So I'm doing it again. So if you've been wondering why my brain has been, well, I think it's been kind of ish together, but there's been maybe some moments of, sporadicness. It's because I'm trying to remember kind of a good flow to go through, and yeah, I parked too far away. There we go. It's one of those things. You know what? You make mistakes and you just gotta laugh it off. Luckily, it's not a crazy long delivery, but you actually wouldn't believe how many times I've done that before. And I joke with myself now about doing it, and that honestly, sometimes I just forget to hit the button, and I must have done that. I got everything set up, and instead of hitting the button and then starting to do my intro, I just started doing the intro. It's the way it is. It's no harm done. Luckily, I was able to just re-record with no issues there. Is that truck gonna let me go through, or is he turning? I think he's gonna let me go, probably because the light has changed. So we're gonna go ahead and turn in here. But no, I pulled a blunder. I've already delivered it, and I was luckily I didn't actually hit enter when I parked, because I reversed and everything into this spot over here. I can tell you where it is. It's going to be far right hand side on the receiving dock. Yeah, it's all the way down here. But no, it is. I've already reversed into this joint, and I was about to. I did my outro, and was about to stop recording. And when I went to stop recording, it said I started. So I went back to the beginning and I started again. It's all good though. We're here. 1.47 is an amazing update. Let's see if I can reverse it in here once again for another shot. And of course, no reverser beeper. I said that in the unrecorded video because I don't have any mods, and I had JC Amateurs mods in here before, and the sound reverser in that is, shall we say, subpar. But nonetheless, 1.47 open beta, highly recommend it. Do what you want with the collision. If you don't want to get frustrated with it, I recommend just turning it off for now, and then I'm sure it will be improved over time. Other than that, the update seems to be very solid and reliable. I haven't had any issues unloading. If you have a lot of mods in your save, I highly recommend just starting a new save or having a separate beta save that you can just kind of explore and have fun, but not have any mods in it. It's completely up to you, but I would recommend kind of being cautious if you have a lot of mods in there. But nonetheless, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.